Hey guys, Harvey here. I'm a bit sick, which, as rare as it could be, or as rare as it uh, is the case. So last week we did a dating advice Santa video, which is fucking fantastic. I've recorded two more versions of it, two more episodes of Dating Advice Santa. If the first one goes viral, then I'll release the other two. It won't matter what part of the year it is. It'll be like fucking June. I'll release them. But in today's video, which is more of a rough and ready style video, I did want to talk about dating after divorce, which has a really catchy name. I probably could make a whole website on that on its own, a topic. This video is titled 10 Things. 10 Things that you can do, or 10 Things to remember while dating after divorce, that can sort of help you get back into the dating game really quickly, really easily. Things to look out for, things to watch out for, things to remember, things to sort of keep in mind. I have my list in front of me. And so I've personally had the honor of coaching quite a few people who have been dating after divorce, who've needed my help. I was going to edit in some stuff. I'm not editing this video at all. I was going to edit in some testimonial videos from people that I've worked with, but I'm not doing that. But you can check that out at www.gethimhooked.com. You can also apply for my amazing 6-week program there as well, which, especially if you're someone dating after divorce, we got to fucking get some amazing groundwork there. So really, I want you to consider that because it can be one of the best things that have happened to you. I've already got people who have signed up for next year to start it in January as a great way to kick off the year. So if that's you, I'd really recommend checking that out now. It can be, again, one of the best things that happened to you, but also one of the best things, something really amazing to look forward to. All right, so thing number one, I'm just going to keep talking. I'm not going to worry about too much about this video length and stuff like that. Let's just get some real good quality content out there. Thing number one, or thing to remember number one, is don't rush it. What people will do is there is a variety of different advice that you can get, different opinions, all this forms of stuff. Now, when you work with me, what you'll find is that we'll give you the best mindsets and we'll help you develop your own mindsets. But if you rush it, you won't fully develop the skill set, the ideas, the feelings to be able to perfectly distinguish between who's good for you and who's bad for you. The reason why I say also don't rush it is a number of people they'll doubt themselves, or they will go into dating or the dating world a bit conceited, a bit hurt, and it's really worth pointing out that you need to obviously take time to get past those fears or those concerns. And sometimes you might be in the dating world at the start, not to find someone good, but to feel good about yourself or to feel better about yourself. If that's the case, that's the case. Sometimes people get into dating for all sorts of reasons. They want to, sometimes they're not actually looking for a partner, but they're looking to find themselves. If that's the case, that's okay. It's not a big deal. It's almost like just roll with those punches. You know what I mean? So when we say don't rush it, we are trying to develop a sense of confidence in yourself and in your dating life, and trying to develop, I guess, what we would refer to as a taste, a lexicon of people that you can interact with. And so those sorts of fine tastes is an acquired taste. Dating, I would describe as an acquired taste. Now, you don't want to be one of those people, in my opinion, you don't want to be one of those people who dates just to get good at dating, because you can always go down that rabbit hole and it can go deeper and deeper and deeper. This is still thing number one, by the way. It is worth getting into dating for an emotion, a reason, an outset. And you might just be getting into dating or going back into dating purely because a part of you thinks that you should, or thinks that it's part there for you. Sometimes you're not going to be ready, and if you're not ready, that's okay. If part of you thinks that it's worth you going into and now's the time, then now is the time. But if you're not ready, you're just not ready. This is why we say don't rush it. There is a pace to it. And if you let that pace, your pace. If you want one day to message 10 guys on Tinder and go out on 10 dates in 10 days, great. If you want to go on one date a month, great. Just like there are tides, you will find there will be tides to you and your own life. So it's worth finding that pace. And you can find that pace if you don't rush the process. Now, thing number 2 is there is a saying where it says, the candle that burns the brightest is the one that burns the quickest. You know what I mean? Which means it's like those relationships that you would go into where, you know, it's really fucking passionate, then you guys sleep together, and then he runs away. So that's why we say the candle that burns the brightest can be the one that burns the quickest. I say this with the little asterisk, if it doesn't stick around. So it is worth recognizing that sometimes really passionate dates and interactions can be, how do I put this into words? Can be a bit of a drama, or can be not what you want. If so, just roll with those punches, so to speak. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal if someone loves you and leaves you, but what is a big deal is getting caught up in it. You know, getting frustrated by it, because as soon as you get frustrated by it, you almost step out of it. It becomes more about you trying to solve your own emotional problems than actually meeting someone new. That's what most people, that's my big fucking problem with dating and also business. It's like almost like sometimes people get into business because they want to feel better about themselves, or people go into dating because they want to feel better about themselves. You can do that, but sometimes you're also there to meet someone else. Sometimes you're there to help someone else. Sometimes you're there to give. So it's worth recognizing that. Thing number 3, this ties perfectly into it. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. And that's okay. You almost want to make mistakes. In this world, especially in the Twitter world, we are in a space where it is almost, you're ostracized for making mistakes. In the dating world, that's also the case. But you cannot let that get to you. You're going to make mistakes. You are human. If you meet the wrong person and beat yourself up about it, that is worse than meeting the wrong person. You know, it's like you will beat yourself up about it. You will burn yourself to the ground. And all of a sudden what happens is that you're no longer dealing with connecting with someone else. You're just trying to connect with yourself. The way I've often perceived love and relationships and just human interaction is very, and this is the first time I'm expressing this, by the way, is sort of like a tree, is that there needs to be the roots grounded for the tree to grow, and sometimes they grow simultaneously. In trees, they do. But with humans, on the other hand, what we do is we become very insular, very introspective, very depressed, very inside ourselves when we're not ready to deal with the external world. It's because we're reconfiguring, realigning. So if you make mistakes and beat yourself up, it's almost like you're uprooting your tree, you're destroying your internals. Love and relationships can sometimes be like a river. If you go down the river, that's good. You know, there are going to be rapids, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be turmoils. But what's worse is worrying about it. What's worse than the turmoils that life gives you is thinking something's wrong with you, is beating yourself up about it. So it's okay to make mistakes. What's worse than making mistakes is fucking flagellating yourself for doing it. Thing number 4, if you have kids, depending on their age, there's a couple things you want to do. If they're adults, you almost want to set the frame with your children that you're now friends and that, you know, that your children are your support network. Just as much as you are their parent, you are together. Just as much as you are their parent, you are together on this path together, and you have feelings, you have emotions, you have needs, and that you're going into the dating world. If they still are quite young, you're probably going to want to have some people that can potentially be on demand for babysitting. or dating sitting, while you go out on your dates and stuff like that. A lot of people will kill their love life because they have kids, so they don't want to go out there or risk affecting their children. If you have a partner still, like you're divorced, clearly, depending on your relationship, this is one thing that I've worked with people one-on-one on. It's what I call parents, not partners. Parents, not partners is that you are establishing a new relationship with your divorced husband, wife, whatever it was, your ex, that you are parents still, that you still share the responsibilities, that you're just not partners, that you're not dating, there's no romantic influence there. With the children, it's still worth showing that love can exist, that you and your parents are still amicable, because often where we learn our most important or most fundamental or most just, what do you call it? Your most grounded, the most deepest fundamental core values of love is what we get from our parents. Again, with parenting, you're always going to screw it up. I'm not a parent myself, but I speak to my mum all the time. With all these other people who are parents as well. But, and real honest, you're always going to do your best job. You're still going to traumatize your child somehow from something you didn't know. You put the milk in the fridge too late. Now they've got milk issues. You know what I mean? It's like almost the role of becoming an adult in someone's life is letting go of the shit that your parents gave you. Because there's always shit, unless you're fucking Gandhi or Buddha or Jesus or someone, like one of the greats. Having children. I'm pretty sure they didn't have children. I don't know my history very well, but I don't know if Buddha had children. They knew it. They were like, why are we doing this? But point is, it's almost the role of the child to become the adult to let go of fears, And whether those fears are inherited from you or from someone else, it's their job to do that. So you can always do your best to sort of get them into a position where it's easier for them, that there's not a lot of fears to break past. But the more that there are, the more that they will be strong in themselves. So you can't truly try and hide things from it. You can just make it the best situation you can for the kids. But here's the big thing I want to share with you, especially when it comes to kids. You don't want to teach your kids to be afraid of relationships and love. What you can invertedly do is, by being afraid to date because you have the children, you're almost shifting the responsibility to them. You're using them as an excuse for your own lack of confidence or faith in yourself. And what will happen is you'll teach them that it's their reason why you're unhappy. And what do? That's where the real deepest affecting things. Number 5. Are we up to number 5? We are up to number 5. I actually planned this video, by the way. Normally, I just roll with it. Podcasts, if you don't listen to it, the Honest Modern Dating Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, every fucking platform that exists that I'm unaware of it. I never plan any of this stuff. I have a list here for once. So number 5, your age means nothing when it comes to the world of love. And I cannot stress that enough. You are as old as you feel. And if you judge yourself for being old, it's the same thing about worrying about it. It's like being old isn't a problem. Worrying about it is the problem. That is a real big, that's almost the big theme of this video, right? And if you, and often it can be one of those things that trying to force yourself out of worry can cause more worry. So what you do want to do is set a call with me, do the 6-week program with me. It's one of those things that it's like when you're in it, it's hard to get out of it unless you have someone to pull yourself through it. I know I've had my mentors and all this kind of stuff. When it does come to age, right, it means nothing. It might mean that you probably favor a different kind of person. You've been through different stages. You'll definitely go on dates with people who are almost like child adults. They are an adult, but they're mentally in a state of a child. And you might be one of those people. Again, who fucking cares? It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world that you are. Like, that time is fucking ticking. Time is ticking. Time will always tick. Time is the one fucking constant. So, or at least in our universe anyway. So what you want to consider is worrying about time is worse than the time that you have or the time that you have left. So what you want to do is focus on being vibrant. Rather than worrying about your age, focus on being bright, being open, being expressive, allowing yourself to be all those things that you naturally are before worry about age and all that kind of sets in. That's if you are someone who does worry about age. I know that there are some people who do. It's not a fucking big deal. I myself, in the past, I've definitely dated people who were like almost 20 years older than me at some points, and I was mentally older than them. And again, age means nothing. And that's not just something that I tell myself, it's something that you should also tell yourself. Age is nothing, it's what you've done in those years that counts. And it will always be what you have done in those years that always counts. And when we do the 6-week program, we fucking pull that out of you because you've probably lived and experienced and learned and loved more than you actually have. Now, online or offline dating, it's your own preference. You can shift from day to day, even online, offline, whatever. My big thing that I really want you to always remember is don't use online dating because you think you're too busy to meet people, right? Excuses. Don't use online dating because you're too afraid to meet people in real life. This is a chance for you. This is a beautiful chance for you, especially if you're dating after divorce, to use the dating sphere as a way to enhance your interpersonal skills. Now, clearly this is about connecting with someone personally, but you're going to be meeting a lot of people. You're going to be going on dates. Now, my personal preference, as opposed to online or offline dating, and the ones that when I work with people one-on-one, is what we could call, and I haven't put a name to it yet, I'm going to call it like bright dating, or almost not passive dating, but vibrancy dating, where you don't have to worry about going out of your way to meeting people. This is one of the biggest strifes or problems that I experience from people where they are dating after divorce, is that they're like, oh my God, I'm going to have to go out. I don't want to go out. I'm not a nightclub person. Not a nightclub person? Don't go to fucking nightclubs. Oh, I'm going to have to go to bars. Not a bar person? Don't go to bars. Oh, but I don't want to do online. Don't like online dating? Don't fucking do it. But then what do I do, One of the things I teach people when I'm working with people one-on-one is to have the confidence to do it. But what I find, and is more important than dating, is your own vibrancy. Again, as I said before, your ability to be yourself. Another way of saying it, I like to say it like this, is your ability to be unleashed within yourself. This is how you become so attractive, so beamingly attractive, that when you're interacting with people, they'll feel your presence, and when they feel your presence, they might just like it. This is the thing that makes people come to and approach you. This is the thing that makes you the thing that they chase. So that's what I think, in my opinion, is the most powerful way to go about it, is to, and then that's the roots of the tree, and then the branches of the tree is online or offline dating. It's the how you express it, but it doesn't have to be the way you express it. It should be that you are already naturally beautifully attractive, and that's how it comes through. And there will always be a step. I think I've talked about before, I do want to have a little note. This is on the side, but there will always be a pathway of least resistance. Sometimes you need to go on bad dates for good dates. Sometimes you need to go on dates just to realize you just need to make friends. Sometimes you need to go on dates to just have a lot of sex and to realize, hey, you want something real. There is a tossing and turning and there is a shifting and sorting, and you will be shifting and sorting, and it's worth remembering that as you're moving forward. Okay, so number 7. And this is sort of a red flag thing, because I know some people fucking they're like, ooh, red flags. I like knowing where there's danger. Do I like knowing that things are good too? Like, fucking hell. Anyway, it's already gone for 20 minutes, so if you're watching this up to this point, you're like a fine wine. There are sometimes going to be men who will judge you for being divorced or having kids. These are not the men that you want. Now, I'm going to be talking about this in the next point, but that there will be people who will say that you're, oh my God, why were you divorced? Or why, like, you got kids, what does that mean? It means whatever you want it to mean. You know, like, it's not a big deal, and it never will be a big deal. If you make it a big deal, it's a big deal. So this ties in perfectly to point number 8, which is really important. If you're looking for a bit of fun, you don't need to mention your kids. If you're looking for something more serious, more lasting, mention your kids. Number 9 really blends into this, like 7, 8, 9 all blend together. What I don't want you to do though, and what is really important to not do, and you'll understand this more as we work together more and more and more, especially when you subscribe to my channel, is that what I find people will do is they'll mention their fears. You know, have you ever seen someone do a speech and they're like, oh, I'm not ready, you know? And it's like when we have insecurities, it is almost like a natural thing for people to do. I'm not saying this is you, but this is what people do, that they will mention their insecurity because they want you to know it before you discover it. You know what I mean? So if you do that with your kids, you've done fucked it up. Like, straight away, you're like, just letting you know I've got kids, you know? Great. You got kids. Like, good work. That's the thing, like, online dating profile things. Mention you have kids, good. It's arbitrary. It is arbitrary. They are connecting with you first. You first. You'll actually have a lot more success this way if you're looking for success in whatever that means to you. You'll actually have a lot more success if you probably don't mention kids and they find out almost naturally. I find, again, as we said before, with the whole insecurities thing, you know, I find a lot of people who worry about age, they'll mention their age a lot. It's almost like they're looking for someone to tell them it's okay to have those things. It's okay to have kids. It's okay that you have kids. Doesn't mean that you're less attractive. It's okay that you're divorced. It does not mean that you're less attractive. What it means is you have kids. What it means is you've been divorced. It doesn't mean shit about you. And so if you make it mean stuff about you, it will mean stuff about you. So this ties in perfectly to point number 9. You are not broken. So you're not broken. You're not broken for having kids. You're not broken for being divorced. And I want you to have this almost as your base vibrational thought. If you don't know what that means, just roll with it. I want this to have you as your base vibrational thought, which is that you are awesome as you are. What I mean by that is that it's like you are a gift to this person, and everything that is an extension of you is a gift as well. So if you have children, that's beautiful. If you have fucking hell, you know, you've got a partner that you have to sort of fucking deal with, that's also beautiful. They get to be with you, and as we work more and more together, you'll recognize this. And the more you recognize this, the more powerful it is. It's like a sliding scale. They get to be with you. They have the honor of dealing with your kids. And more importantly, especially if you're someone who's more worried about your kids sort of dealing with meeting someone new, especially if they're young, they have to earn it. They have to earn it. There is going to be no other way around it. Normally I'm really against people who like, oh, my self-worth. I have got such a self-worth. Look at my self-worth. I'm worth more than that. What are you, a fucking monetary value? Saying you, like I get it. High self-esteem. Have high self-esteem. But when people use self-worth, they're almost talking about like sexual market value. I'm worth more than that. That's like fucking prostitution right there. Which is not bad, but I say that to sort of fucking poke a finger in the ribs of those people who say these things. So, when we say know your self-worth, I think a better way of asking is know what you want. Like, this is the walking paradox of human nature. You are both worthless and worth everything in the fucking galaxy. You are both beautiful and not. You are both a pile of individual atoms and a fucking living, thinking being. You are both everything and nothing. You are both matter and the space between the matter. And you are both like fucking broken and fixed simultaneously. So it's sort of really worth thinking. Instead of saying, oh, my self-worth, look at my self-worth. I do this motion because that's sort of like the attitude. Like it's my, not impression, it's my way of expressing the sort of attitude that those posts I see have. Know your worth. I'm worth more than that. You have to pay me more to deal with that. And I get it. It's about behavior. You got to treat me better, but there is no hierarchy to behavior. That's the thing that you have to recognize, is that there is no hierarchy to behavior. What does that mean? That means that one action is not above or below another action, but is it what you want? Is it how you want to be treated? Not, I want to be treated better than this. That's not what we say. What we say is, I want to be treated in this way and not that way. It's about preference, not worth. It's about ability. It's about your what you want, desires, not value. Because if it's what you want, then it will be that way. But if it is not what you want, then you can push it away. Now, number 10, most of all, the world, this is big. If you're watching this, number 10 physically will make this entire video worth your while if you did not get value. Like, not only you got value, like, number 10 is the reason why you are watching this video. Number 10 is one of the biggest themes of why I do what I do. And number 10 is one of the biggest things, and I've had my clients refer to it as a superpower, one of the biggest abilities you'll get when we work together. I've written this down. Most of all, the world of dating might have changed. Now you've got more online, whatever. There's Tinder. You know, fucking memes change like every fucking day, week, you know. Ideas, things bleed into other things. That's true. The world of dating might have changed, but you get to decide how it goes for you. This means there is the social narrative. What is it? Guys want freedom. Women want commitment, which is the narrative. I get all the time, why do men lie? And I say, I'm a man, am I lying to you? What's this bullshit? Like, I almost sometimes get off calls. Like, I let them know, like, if you're gonna keep up with this hate speech, I'm not gonna speak to you. Because you're talking ill about a whole fucking populace of the planet, which I identify with. But there is the social narrative. There is the way that people might think dating is. It's hard. It's a pain in the ass. Why would you give it a go? Everyone's shit. They just want to have sex with you and leave you. Or they just, if you're a guy watching this, you're like, I don't know, one of the biggest fears a lot of men have is that they're going to break a woman's heart. And they've actually sort of done studies on this where it's like they've done like, I'm not going to mention studies, but point of number 10 is that you get to decide how it goes. You get to decide what you want. What's your preference? You get to decide your own pace, and you get to decide your own narrative. If you want something to do, I'd really recommend almost writing a little story, which I really recommend include, saying, talking to Harvey, but writing a little story about how you want your love life to go. Everything that you do adds to this story naturally. You know, if you text one guy and you decide not to go on a date with him, that's okay. That's just part of your story. You get to decide. You are in control. You will always be in control. And what happens is a lot of people will hear this and they'll say, but I didn't want it to go this way. It's like you didn't want it to go this way, but you inadvertently did it through either you consciously create your relationships. And when I say you consciously create your relationships, what I mean is sometimes it's conscious, like we're not that conscious of it, but it's still a mental thing. Your relationships will always be a reflection of who you are at the time. Well, they will always be. Even if you're married and you're angry, suddenly your partner is angry. You get to decide your story. And sometimes you find what you want when you find what you don't want, which means that if you interact with someone, right, and you go on a date and you're like, I don't like this. I don't like being treated this way. Not that it's worthless. It's just not my preference. It's like giving steak to a vegan. It's like they don't want it. It's like it's not food to them. You get to decide. Now, if you keep doing the same mistakes again, maybe because you needed to make those same mistakes. It's really worth recognizing. So thank you so much for watching this video. You can go to gethimhooked.com to schedule a call with me one-on-one. That's where we talk one-on-one. I have an announcement I should have mentioned at the start of this video, but I didn't. I have my new long-distance relationship success manual. I hate the name, but fucking that's the name I picked, which is a guide on long-distance relationships. Some massive do's and don'ts of long-distance relationships. You can get that at www.gethimhooked.com. Get that now. You can get it. I don't know if it'll be a limited release or long-term. I don't know. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe. Click the little bell icon or do whatever. You have been fantastic. And I'll talk to you next week. And also make sure to subscribe because come just before Christmas, New Year's, I'll be doing my annual, my annual New Year's meditation. So you're going to want to look out for that. So I'll talk to you then.